My name is Tamara Ringas. I'm a composer and programmer from the University of Cape Town, where I studied computer science and music technology at the South African College of Music. Today, I will be showing some of my audiovisual works and explaining the toolkit that I use to create the visuals for these compositions. The first tool I use is called Sonic Geometry. It's a max patch for Max MSP. It is available at this link below, or you can just search Sonic Geometry Max Patch. It was created by Arash Azadi and it costs $3. There's also a free version called Sound Particles, which was programmed by Kevin Kripper. The link for that is below. I used Sonic Geometry in my composition Yawning Giants, which comes from my Eropsis EP of my duo Whale Whale, which is available on all streaming platforms. The next tool I use is called DaVinci Resolve. It is available at the following link, and it is a free video editing software and can also be used for audio post-production. I use DaVinci Resolve on all the videos that I make, just to edit them at the end. This video is called Itch. It features the dancer Sela Joy, and it is off my EP titled Scratch Itch release with the composer Callum Cool, who's based in Bulgaria. This next composition was also made with DaVinci Resolve, and the fading was done with Adobe Premiere. This piece is titled Little Bit. It is off my upcoming EP, Carrying Capacity, and it can be found online at the Athens Digital Art Festival. We recorded this during the lockdown in South Africa. So to adhere to social distancing, we recorded the dancers separately. The two dancers are Sumal Nero from Mozambique and Sela Joy again from Cape Town. And we merged the two videos to create one video showing the little bits of connection that we are able to get during this time. The next tool I use is a web app that is free, and it's called Spinning Spirals. It's developed by the software engineer, Ryan Woolhutter. This is what Spinning Spirals looks like. There's a control section on the left where you set the parameters for the visualizer. And this is what it looks like in an audiovisual context. This work is called Release. It's from scratch. It's Release with Callum Cool. I frequently use another web app by Ryan Woolhutter, Fractal Kaleidoscope. This is built in JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. Most of my audiovisual tools are based in JavaScript. I would really recommend learning JavaScript if you would like to make code-based audio visualizers. A great place to learn JavaScript is exorcism.org. Fractal Kaleidoscope is available at the following link. This is what it looks like. Again, there's a control panel that can drop down on the left to set the parameters for the visualizer, and you let it run to the music. This composition is called Mentis Corpus. It is also from my upcoming EP, Carrying Capacity, and it uses Fractal Kaleidoscope. My next audiovisual tool works with the Spotify API. Once I've uploaded my songs to Spotify, I use this code base to create reactive visuals for the audio. It can be found on my GitHub at the following link. It's based on Zach Winter's Spotify syncing algorithms, which use the repository that the Spotify API has available for data on each song. It has things like the danceability, genre, mood of the song, as well as the timestamps for the beats, segments, bars, tatums, and sections of the songs. You can then use the syncing algorithms to say on each beat or section, do something to the visuals. I have a code snippet in the next slide to show what it looks like. This is in JavaScript again. So this is what I do on every beat in the next composition. I have particles, which are circles that are drawn in JavaScript to a web page that is run also by a JavaScript backend server. On each beat, I set each particle to vibrate. The vibrate function will be explained next. It also changes the color on each beat with the code that's shown below that. I will now show another composition that uses the Spotify visualizer, and then I'll explain the code a bit more. This composition is called Eropsia. It is from the Eropsis EP of my duo Whale Whale with the audio engineer Levi Toll of the Phantom Ship Studios. It's available on all streaming platforms. This is the code for the Spotify visualizer. There is code for the server, Webpack, and client that is available on the repository on my GitHub. Nothing needs to be changed there. This just sets up the website to run the code. Under client, there's a file called template.js. JS stands for JavaScript. Keep the top line, import visualizer from classes visualizer. This imports the Zach Winter syncing algorithms. We then created something called a state. We set an array of particles. I chose 10 particles with a speed of 1.5, a small size. You set the color, lightness, saturation, and color rate. And I set shrink to true, which means when the volume decreases, the size of the particles also decrease. You can set shrink to false, and the particles will periodically get bigger and bigger, which can be quite a fun effect. This next section, the template, extends the visualizer class, and it is based on the Spotify API information. It's called hooks. These are the timestamps of the beat, tatum, segment, bar, and section markers from the Spotify repository. Under each hook, you can set what to do for each tatum, segment, beat, or bar. For the tatum, I've chosen to do nothing. On segments, I take each particle in my array of particles, so for each of the 10 particles, and I call the vibrate function. The vibrate function is this function below. This is the class particle. It creates a particle object. I run 10 of these for the visualizer. It has a method draw, which just creates a particle with the context stroke call. Here's the vibrate method. It has an amount, a volume, which is the ratio of volume to change in the vibration, and the context. What it does is if state is set to shrink, then it makes the sign of the radius change to a negative value. So it starts to shrink. And if it's not set to that, then it creates a expansion in the radius by setting it to the value to 1 of the sign. This creates what looks like a vibration, but it's actually just a quick enlarge and shrink of the particle. This is what I do on each beat. I also do it on each segment and on each tatum. Instead of particles, you could draw anything. I have a version of this that uses triangles and a version that uses squares. So in the template.js file, you can do class anything in the section. It doesn't have to be a particle, but the particles work really nicely. My audiovisual toolkit that I'm using at the moment consists of sonic geometry and sound particles, DaVinci Resolve, the Spinning Spirals web app by Ryan Woolhutter, the Fractal Kaleidoscope web app, and the Spotify visualizer code base, which can be found on my GitHub.